tonight.
It's time. To free your mind, body and soul. With Set Free Radio. Set Free Radio, hosted by Franky-D and Miss Roshell, bringing you the hottest in indie urban inspirations. Bringing that fire with hip-hop, reggae, dance, and contemporary. Set free. Hoopy. Set free. Hoopy. Set free. Set free radio. Frankie Rock. Let's go.
88.1 FM, and Set Free is in the building, bringing you that hot music that inspires. But right now, we've been talking to you about getting guests on the line all night long. And with that said, live and direct on the line, I got an exclusive interview coming your way with the homie Brian White. What's up, fam? How you doing?
What's up, man? How are you, Frank?
Oh, we're definitely feeling good. Glad for you to take time and give us a call right here at Set Free Radio.
Brian, we'd like to thank you so much for coming on the show. Now, for many of those that don't know who Brian White is, why don't you go ahead and tell them a little bit about yourself?
I mean, to me, that question's subjective. I mean, I'm a son. I'm a guy that grew up in Boston, Massachusetts. I'm a guy that went to an Ivy League school. I went to Dartmouth. Guy who played professional sports. I'm a guy who worked on Wall Street, and now I'm a guy who works in the entertainment industry and is an author for a living. People have seen me on, let's say, Stomp I Can Do Bad All By Myself, Men of a Certain Age, and other television shows and films. Maybe they saw me at our play this fall. What my husband doesn't know, David E. Talbert's touring production. Maybe they've read Black Carpenter, my latest book, but that's what I do. I'm a Renaissance man, if you had to give a title to it.
Okay, so you say you're a Renaissance man. Now, what in the industry took place for you to go in all those different directions? Talk to us a little bit about that.
I mean, I just wrote a book, Black Carpenter, a youth empowerment guide, and that book really speaks to that. So, I have a long-form answer to that very question. People can get all those details and get a copy of the book at blackcarpenter.org. But, the number one lesson and the number one message that I've learned and that's been shown to me and taught to me over and over again in life is that the best tool you can ever equip yourself with to create your own success in any arena is education. I don't care if you want to be a rapper, a professional football or basketball player, the president of the United States, or, start the next Facebook or Twitter. Your education is going to allow you the pathways and the relationships to make that happen for yourself. If you rely on other people to make stuff happen and to make stuff happen for you, life is going to be very difficult and challenging. If you empower yourself with the tools and relationships to create your own successes, life, can be a joy, and it is a joy. There's a lot of wonder and beautiful things in life if you equip yourself to be able to look at it and take advantage of those things.
Now, Brian, it's easy for people to label you and look at you where you are, saying, well, he's successful, he doesn't have anything to worry about. But I'm pretty sure with all these transitions in your life, you've had to go through some form of hard time. When it comes to dealing with struggles and trials in your life, who are some of the folk that you turn to when you need help the most?
I mean, it's my role models and mentors. Again, Black Carpenter speaks to that. It's about the people in my family, in my life that came before me who were those role models and sources of inspiration that equipped me to deal with tough times. My mother, my father, my coaches, my guidance counselors in high school, college professors, acting coaches, directors, business partners. Those are the people that have really equipped me to handle life's difficulties. and to look at them the right way, to look at them as learning lessons and opportunities and not, the end of something, always a new beginning and to keep it moving. As an athlete, and especially in particular as a football player, you always learn that you have to get over a bad play, because if you don't, you're going to be responsible for creating another bad play or series of bad plays. So you develop a short-term memory, and you develop an ability to always learn the lesson you're meant to learn from each experience. Win, lose, or draw, prevail, triumph, or
right.
fail. So that is, I think, the biggest weapon that I use to combat all of the difficulties. I was born, I have 5 younger sisters, I'm one of 6. I was raised by a single mother who worked her way up from being, a secretary while we were latchkey kids to a CFO of companies,
Right.
And, without help, she wasn't getting a check from Dad. My dad's a legendary NBA player, and I have a great relationship with my dad. And my stepmother have been married 30 plus years, an example of a perfect, what I consider to be a fantastically conceptualized and lived out marriage. They act like school sweethearts to this day, and it's fantastic to have that example in my life and see why marriages work. But I've also grown up in a household where a single, strong black woman had to do it by herself, and seeing how she was able to do that and why. And I've taken all those lessons and tried to, develop my way of doing things, leading with integrity and character and hard work and value, and tried to carve out my niche. Here we are discussing it.
Now, speaking of making adjustments in life, what are some of the adjustments that you've had to make in your life to sort of fit your lifestyle and the life that you're living today?
To look for the lesson. Change is good. Change means you're growing. Your life is a series of a path of a journey of growth, and continuing education if you're open to receive it. Not all situations are going to be comfortable, but they can all be fruitful if we allow them to be. It's always God working through us. We're never in it alone. So I think that, again, perspective and attitude are everything in life, and there's always a way to look at the glass half empty or half full. And I choose, and I've been taught to figure out how to look at that half full glass, how to see that half full glass. And I think that's what, when you're in the darkest of days, realize 99% of the time it's you standing in your own light and casting a shadow. You're creating your own shadow.
Right.
So there are choices that you can make about attitude. There are choices that you can make about effort. There are choices that you can make about those relationships that you do or cease to have because they're not elevating you to where you want to be. That will, release those burdens, release those chains. Usually, you have some say about that, and it's just empowering yourself to affect your life in a positive direction.
All right, right now you are locked in right here on 88.1 FM. Set Free is in the building with Franky-D, Miss Roshell, and our special guest, Hollywood celeb Brian White on the line, star of many films, but one of the main films, of course, you may recognize him from is Stomp the Yard, I Could Do Bad All By Myself with Tyler Perry. So don't go nowhere. We're going to be right back. Let's get into this music.
Bringing you the best of today's urban inspirations. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Set Free Radio. Set Free Radio with Franky-D and Miss Roshell.
We're back right here on 88.1 KFCF with Brian White in the building right here on Set Free. This is your girl, Miss Roshell. And while we got Brian on the line, Brian, let's talk about the business side of Brian White. We all know the actor, Mr. Stomp the Yard, in the Tyler Perry plays and movies. But tell us about the business side of Brian White.
We're trying to do a little bit of everything. I do what interests me, and I'm a Renaissance man. I like art, and I'm a fan of quality. I'm a fan of, when I was a professional athlete, I was a student of the game. I perpetually wanted to get better at my technique, to being able to execute, so to help add value and make my team win. It's the same thing now in entertainment. So being a businessman, being able to have some influence regarding the material, how it's shot, who's directing it, who's producing it with you, who's casting it with you, is another way to do that, to help elevate the finished product. to make it more along the lines of what I see in the world. Everybody, has a desire to create art, and to really create art, you have to have some kind of control over the direction of the project. So that's why we started, this my production company, and then my philanthropic endeavors, and some of our projects for 2011 are the calendar we did with Jarris Madison. You can check that out at Obvious Magazine /calendar. obviousmagazine.org/calendar. And you'll be able to see our 16-month calendar and order it right there. You can also get it off my website, brianwhiteonline.com. I have my book, which is available now, Black Carpenter. BlackCarpenter.org is the site you can order that on, or it's also on Amazon. And then we have 3 films coming out, the first of which is called Politics of Love. It's a romantic comedy. Myself, a huge Bollywood star named Malika Sherawat, and then Loretta Devine, Ruby D, and Jerry Bednow. Everybody knows him from the Judd Apatow movies. That comes out August 26th in about 15 cities, and then September 1st on VOD all over the world, India, Asia, United States. Politics of Love, the movie.com. Check out the website, politicsoflovethemovie.com. You get all the information, check out the trailer, find out where it's playing near you. And after that, my movie, The Heart Specialist, which I did with Zoe Saldana and Wood Harris and a whole lot of other folks, comes out on DVD October 4th. So check that out. Then November 1st, What My Husband Doesn't Know, the play I did. It was a live stage play. We shot it for TV and for DVD, and that'll be out November 1st.
Okay.
You can check that out at davidetalbert.com's website. And then 2 more movies after that. The next Tyler Perry movie, Good Deeds, and Cabin in the Woods, and those are both 2012.
Okay, cool. Now, Brian, look, I know you mentioned a lot of things that you got going on, but one of the main things that interested me and excited me when we knew that you were going to come on the show was talking a little bit about your Funk Phenomenon project, working with the youth. Why don't you take a little bit of time to tell us about that and how that's flowing?
Well, Funk Phenomenon is an organization we founded back in 1998. I co-founded it with Rhea Briggs, a professional dancer, choreographer, and teacher out of Chelsea, Massachusetts. And I met her when I was playing for the Patriots, and she was actually cheering and choreographing for the New England Patriots cheerleaders and local groups in town, and doing videos and commercials and teaching. And she wanted to figure out a way to use the arts to affect young people. And so we came up with the phrase edutainment, educating through entertaining, and created Funk Phenomenon Urban Dance Theater, which is a school and a professional dance company that fosters issue-oriented learning through the arts. So basically, we have 300 students now. We've worked for companies from Disney to MTV to radio stations to national recording artists, both providing choreography services, dance services, and then our preference is educating, going into schools and using the arts to get kids talking about subjects like race relations, like gender identity, etc. A lot of times kids are more likely to talk about the issues that are affecting them when they're not talking about themselves and they're talking about something they just watched or participated in. So we've created workshops and dance workshops and art workshops that help these kids have these discussions. So that work over the past 10 years led to my work with Warm to Kids, which is another foundation and organization I was a partner of. We're All Role Models to Kids, the acronym stands for, and that was founded by one of my real-life mentors, ML Carr, and then that led to Black Carpenter, the current youth empowerment brand that I co-founded with another Boston native, Anna Cheshire Levitan. And so it's just, the evolution of my interest in philanthropy, which started from my parents.
Okay, that's what's up. Now, Brian, we know you got to get up out of here, so we won't hold you too much longer. But if fans want to get a hold of you and kind of hear what you got going, how can they get a hold of you?
Yeah, man, they can see my official website is brianwhiteonline.com. It's always updated with what's going on, so you can just go there to figure out what's going on with me. And then I tweet, and I'm on Facebook, so at Actor Brian White on Twitter, follow me, and I respond. So, holla, we do what we call food for thought. positive dialogue, on Twitter. So every once in a while you'll catch a hot conversation. Let us know your thoughts. We will respond. And we're looking for respect. We're looking for dialogue. We're looking to move minds. And then I'm on Facebook, Brian J. Wright. It's currently both the avatars are the Politics of Love movie poster. So you'll just think American flag. If you see me and an American flag, you're on the right page. Holler at your boy.
All right. Well, we want to thank you for taking time to come out on the show, sir.
I appreciate you having me on. It's been a pleasure.
Brian, we'd like to thank you so much for joining us tonight right here on Set Free Radio. We're going to jump back into some hot music, and in just a second, we'll take some calls from you. Stay right there. Don't you guys go anywhere.
Franky-D and Miss Roshell. Set Free Radio.